at 6 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order and start off with a pledge of allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, we've all moved along here to item number 3, consideration and approval of the agenda. So moved. Motion by Jan, by her second. I'll second. By Pam. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Right, so we'll move on to business, item number 4.1665, 11th Street Southwest, site plan review and conditional.
So we're here for the conditional use permit and site plan. At the April 23rd Planning Commission, there was a public hearing for the conditional use permit, and the proposal was approved and sent to council. At the May 7th council meeting, this item was tabled for more information by a council member, and their questions have been answered. So today we're looking for council action with the site plan and the CUP as it follows all of the city ordinances.
So now there's no concerns.
I had questions that I had on the table too, that I was hoping to have clarified. One, on page 5, the SEH missing points in their analysis. Recommendations. Options for the applicant to consider are to explore adjusting the layout, reduce proposals to one fourplex, or subdivide the lot into 2 parcels if possible. Has that been addressed?
That is a decision of council.
But our ordinance states that you can have one main building per lot or it needs to be subdivided.
Correct.
Address the items within this memo, including floodplain elevation requirements, label setbacks on site plans, and plans for lighting, landscaping, refuse.
That was all re-updated and submitted back.
I do not see plans with lighting and
Minus still lighting, the lighting has not come.
or landscaping.
Landscaping was on there. There is like trees, if there's a little legend that has like trees and shrubs that were coded on there.
And one of the plans, yes. And then the other question that I have is about the trash enclosure. That's on page 25 where it's hand drawn. It's hand drawn on a 3-foot decline. And I'm wondering how that's gonna work.
That is all gonna be leveled accordingly, it's not gonna be placed. I was just asked by the city where it was going to be placed, and it will be following all the ordinance.
Okay, in page 5, the concern that I have with some of this stuff is that in page 5, that came back from the DNR.
The email?
Yeah, the email from the DNR when you sent off at the 100-year floodplain. On page 12, their response was the unnamed basin is a public water wetland, so there are no setbacks for structures. Just no impacts to the basin are allowed. There seems that this could have the potential to cause quite a few impacts to that basin. One of them being for me is that there's a 4-foot curb cut on a slope to it. And the drainage from where the trash thing is gonna sit now. And I am not opposed to housing, I'm not opposed to this project, I just want to make sure that we're doing everything to the letter, because we have learned that we have not done some things to the letter, and I feel it's important that.
You're asking me. Okay. Number one, we are general contractors, and we do understand how things are put together. And there's nothing we're gonna do that's gonna negatively impact anything. We're gonna actually be making it better than it already is.
And I can
You can
appreciate,
see everything in there has been answered what you're referring to, I think, are recommendations.
No, it says just no impacts to the basin are allowed. Doesn't say positive or negative. It says no impacts to the basin are allowed
And then it says you are good to go.
on the 100-year floodplain part of it, but not impacts to the basin. And one of the biggest impacts you can do to a water basin is turning a lot from 100% permeable to 100% impermeable.
It won't be 100.
85 to 95. Apologies. I just feel it's important that we address those things because I don't feel that we're following ordinance because there are things that we could do to subdivide the lot that are not being evaluated.
My reason I didn't make a recommendation on that, we have 10+ properties in town that have multiple 2, 3, up to 6 properties or 6 buildings on one property. So it's kind of set a precedence for that.
Well, I can see your point, but at the same time, those precedents are set in a conditional use by a conditional use basis. And in some of those lots and some of those neighborhoods, it makes sense that those buildings work. In this particular neighborhood, if anybody was ever to try to do anything with their property, I think it would be vitally important to have the ordinance be followed on that strip. It's there for a reason. And we pay SEH a lot of money to give us advice, and their advice is pretty clear. And even in their recommendation was that they call out the ordinance about having one building per.
That would be easily solvable by just splitting the lot, and I would get an easement from myself.
Yep, it would.
But you have to get an easement from yourself to yourself and then do the
Yeah.
same thing on the other.
Yeah, I would.
That would work, but it seems rather redundant.
Yeah.
And unnecessary, but
That's what the ordinance says.
did planning commission, I see Lawrence here, did they flesh out any of these concerns of planning commission? And
On the splitting of the lots, I think it was just, I got to kind of reflect, I didn't have notes on it, but, I believe it was in favor to let the project go the way it was.
Yeah, that was my recollection too.
Okay.
As that was
Okay.
approved.
So,
But it was not a unanimous vote, and these points were brought up because I brought them up.
well, how many people are on the planning commission?
We had 6 at that meeting.
Okay.
And on the 6 that were at the meeting, 5 approved it. One of them is a contractor that, gave his view that this was a good plan and he saw nothing wrong with it. Another one was a realtor who also said that we're in need of housing and this project fits what we're trying to do. So
Which could be perceived as a conflict of interest as well.
Marcy, did we have public hearings?
Public hearing was held at the planning commission meeting, which was on
April
April
23rd.
23rd.
And
And at that point, there were 3 people, the Ericksons and Dave Hill were present for that meeting to speak because they were allowed to speak at the public hearing.
any phone calls or emails or additional concerns or questions? I just think Pine City has a need for more affordable, diverse housing. And, the city recognizes its need. Safe housing is expensive. We have someone here who's trying to help us solve our problems. Planning commission approved, and, we need both rental and owner occupied housing to make the city grow, so I'm in favor of moving forward here.
Would you like to form that into a motion?
Go ahead and make a motion to pass resolution 2025-13.
That's motion from Gina. Do I hear a second?
Second with comments.
Ready, a second from Dave.
Yeah, just basically, the outcome's not gonna change if we force him to come back and split these lots, so the outcome's gonna be the same.
But details matter and words
Well,
matter. And
it
these are
does,
things that could be,
I guess,
we're learning right now in a situation that details matter, words matter. And it's not our first situation where details matter, and words matter.
I don't think we're in the business to make a contract here. If his costs go up, because that's what's gonna happen if he has to go back and,
Then we should change the ordinance.
well, then we need to maybe put it back in the ordinance after now. But the outcome's gonna be the same. So, it'd be redundant to say this is,
It's redundant to follow the rules.
no, be redundant to not let this pass. With the understanding that we need to bring it back. Yes, and so it needs to go back to ordinance after that if there's any changes. Go ahead.
Is there any public forum here for us to talk?
That,
Or no?
We held the public,
I know you
we
did.
put it in the paper and notified everyone around the area, and you showed up, your
Yeah.
wife showed up, Dave Hill showed up, that was the moment for people to speak up.
I never got my notice till after the meeting.
It was,
I never received a notice either.
Yeah.
If you're just throwing it out there, if you are a renter, it went to the registered property owner that is on Beacon.
Well, I'm a registered property owner and I live right next door to where this proposed thing is supposed to go in. And I am opposed to the whole entire thing. So I'm objecting to this whole thing. Now, if it was a single family dwelling or two single family dwellings, I know it's a double lot. That'd be fine, but not a quad, a quadplex. That just doesn't,
yeah.
fly right with me.
Because why even have this meeting if you're not gonna let the public say anything?
Yeah,
Well, that's not how it works.
Well, I understand.
yeah.
Very.
That's what the public hearing was for. It was,
They might call a special meeting and invite us.
because I wanted you to be aware of it, I was trying to be,
If I can't get up and say anything, then it's not doing me any good.
We're all opposed to it in the neighborhood. Every single one of us that.
I've never received a phone call from you, I don't know your name. This, the only person who's reached out is Mr. Erickson and his wife. That's the only people who reached out to the city.
Okay,
So you being here is the first I've heard of your complaint against it, and it's been in the works for over a month.
okay, well, like I said, I didn't get the letter till after. I would have attended the meeting the first time, but I didn't even get the letter in the mail.
Got it after
Yeah,
on the post, where it was posted, after this meeting, and that meeting occurred.
The
Yeah.
postage on the letter?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's not true.
either mail,
Maybe the letter.
we should have brought it with.
Yeah.
Because our postage machine actually
Oh,
stamps the
Stamp,
date,
the
the
stamp.
date they went
Maybe
out.
the post office is stamped differently, but our postage machine puts the time and the date that we put on there.
Well, that's not my fault. Right?
I mean, what else could the city do? Is hand deliver it?
Yeah, I would maybe think so, or.
We've got a motion in a second on the floor. Council, is there any further discussion from council members? Hearing none, all those in favor, this is a resolution. So I'd like to proceed with a roll call vote. Motion from Gina, second from Dave to approve resolution 2025-13. Let's proceed with a roll call vote. Dan? No. Gina?
yes.
Dave? Yes. And I will also vote yes. That motion carries. Right, then we move on to item number 5, would someone like to make a motion to approve?
So move.
From Dave, Wayne,
Second,
seconds from Gina, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. These people should have a chance to speak.
I agree.